Every morning is a fresh page given to us by God. But the question is, how do we write on it? Some people wake up and immediately step into stress, chaos, and distractions. Others wake up with gratitude, clarity, and purpose, and their entire day flows differently. The way we begin our morning is not just about habits, it's about alignment with ourselves, with our purpose, and with God. A strong morning routine is not just a discipline, it is a prayer in action, it is a silent conversation with the divine. And when we honor our mornings, our entire life begins to honor us back. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning, and instead of rushing to check your phone, instead of worrying about yesterday's problems or tomorrow's responsibilities, you take just one moment to pause, place your hand on your heart, and whisper a simple thank you to God. That single act of gratitude might sound small, almost insignificant, but in reality, it carries the power to transform the entire course of your day. Gratitude is not about denying life's challenges. It is about choosing to focus on the blessings that still exist in the middle of them. And when we begin our mornings with gratitude, we align ourselves with a higher energy, a divine frequency that shapes everything that follows. Think about the mornings when you wake up late, anxious or restless. The day feels heavy, conversations turn sharp, and even small inconveniences irritate you. Now compare that to the mornings when you wake up with a peaceful heart, appreciating the gift of life itself. On those days, challenges don't feel like obstacles, they feel like opportunities. Gratitude acts like a lens through which we see the world, and when the lens is clean, everything appears clearer and brighter. Let's take a simple daily example. Imagine someone pours you a cup of tea in the morning. One person drinks it mindlessly, scrolling through messages, barely noticing the warmth, the flavor, or the effort behind it. Another person takes a moment, closes their eyes, smiles, and silently thanks God for the tea, for the person who made it, and even for the farmer who grew the leaves. Same tea, same morning, but two entirely different experiences. The one who drinks with gratitude nourishes not only the body, but also the soul. This shows us that gratitude is not about what we have, it's about how we receive what we have. Gratitude also has a unique way of calming the restless mind. So many of us start our mornings thinking about what we lack, the money we want, the job we don't have, the recognition we are waiting for. But when we wake up and start the day with gratitude, we are reminded of what we already have: the breath in our lungs, the people who love us, the opportunities waiting for us. By focusing on these, we don't just feel better emotionally, our minds become clearer, more creative, and more focused. Science itself confirms this truth. People who practice gratitude regularly report higher levels of happiness, lower stress, and even better health. But beyond science, it is the spiritual connection that makes gratitude so powerful. It is our way of saying to God, I see your gifts and I value them. Consider a person stuck in traffic in the morning. One person curses, complains, and lets the delay ruin their mood for the entire day. Another person, sitting in the same traffic, takes the opportunity to listen to something inspiring, to pray silently, or to reflect on the day ahead with thankfulness that they even have a job to go to or a car to drive. Who do you think arrives at their destination with more energy, more positivity, and more peace? The difference is not the traffic, it's the mindset of gratitude. When we start the day with gratitude, we also become kinder to others. A grateful heart is naturally generous. If you appreciate life, you will appreciate people. And when you treat people with kindness, they reflect it back. A morning that begins with gratitude ripples outward like waves in water, touching everyone we meet. Imagine waking up, thanking God, and then looking at your family or colleagues with that same thankful heart. Suddenly, your words are gentler, your patience is deeper, and your smile is more genuine. Gratitude is contagious. It doesn't stay locked in the heart of the one who feels it. It spreads to everyone around them. Gratitude also builds resilience. Life will always bring struggles. Financial problems, relationship issues, health concerns. But when the foundation of your morning is gratitude, your spirit becomes unshakable. You begin to see difficulties not as punishments, but as lessons and hidden blessings. It's like carrying a shield. Problems may hit, but gratitude absorbs the impact. For example, someone may lose an opportunity, but still say, "Thank God I learned something from this experience, and thank God I am still here to try again." That attitude doesn't eliminate pain, but it gives the strength to move through it with grace. So when we talk about the power of a morning routine, gratitude is not just a step, it is the heartbeat. It is the practice that sets the tone for everything else. Gratitude makes meditation deeper, exercise lighter, relationships sweeter, and challenges easier. And most importantly, it makes us remember that every single day is a gift, not a guarantee. Many people went to sleep last night and didn't wake up this morning. But we did. And for that alone, we owe gratitude. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open, don't let the first thought be about your to-do list, your notifications, or your worries. Let it be a simple prayer of thanks. Whisper it, feel it, and live it. Because a grateful morning creates a graceful life. And when you give thanks to God at the start of the day, the rest of the day often unfolds as a thank you back from life itself. Silence is not the absence of noise, it is the presence of peace. In the world we live in today, mornings are often hijacked by the buzzing of alarms, the ringing of phones, the chatter of news updates, and the flood of notifications. From the very first minute, we are pulled into a storm of sound, thoughts, and pressures. But imagine this. What if your morning began differently? What if instead of opening your day with chaos, you opened it with calm? What if the very first gift you gave yourself was silence and stillness? That is where the true power of mornings lies. Silence is sacred. It is the space where we hear the whispers of God that get lost in the noise of the world. When we wake up and give ourselves a few moments of stillness, we are not being lazy or unproductive. We are actually tuning our minds, just like a musician tunes their instrument before a performance. No orchestra would dare begin without tuning, yet so many of us begin our day without tuning our inner instrument. Then we wonder why our words sound harsh, why our thoughts feel heavy, and why our actions lack harmony. Silence in the morning is that tuning, aligning us with peace before we face the music of the day. Think of a lake at dawn. The water is calm, smooth like glass. You can see the reflection of the sky clearly. But the moment a stone is thrown in, ripples disturb the surface and the reflection blurs. Our minds are like that lake. In the stillness of the morning, they are clear, reflective, and capable of deep insight. But if we throw in the stone of worries, emails, or social media first thing in the morning, the ripples of distraction spread throughout the day. When we choose silence, we allow our inner lake to stay calm so that the reflection of God's guidance can appear clearly within us. Let's take a daily life example. Imagine two people waking up. The first person grabs their phone immediately, checks messages, scrolls through updates, and is instantly reminded of all their responsibilities and comparisons. Anxiety kicks in, The heart races, and before even stepping out of bed, the day feels overwhelming. The second person wakes up, sits in silence for 5 minutes, closes their eyes, breathes deeply, and simply observes the breath without judgment. That person starts the day with a steady mind, an anchored heart, and a connection to the divine. Both people face the same world outside, but one is dragged into it, while the other flows into it with control. The difference lies in silence. Silence is not just empty time, it is filled with awareness. In silence, you begin to notice your own thoughts. You begin to hear your own inner voice, the voice that is often drowned out by the world. Many people say, "I don't have time for silence." But the truth is, silence gives back time. A still mind makes decisions faster, communicates more effectively, and handles problems with greater clarity. A restless mind, on the other hand, wastes hours in confusion, anger, and regret. So, the few minutes we spend in stillness in the morning are not wasted. They are multiplied throughout the day. Silence also deepens our relationship with God. In prayer we speak, but in silence we listen. So often our prayers are filled with words, asking, requesting, pleading. But in silence, we let God speak back to us. We may not hear words, but we feel peace, clarity, and strength rise from within. That is God's response. Just as in any conversation, listening is as important as speaking. In spirituality too, listening through silence is as important as praying. Consider another daily life example. When someone shouts in anger at you, your immediate reaction might be to shout back. But if you have trained yourself in silence during the mornings, you carry that silence within you. Instead of reacting, you pause, breathe, and respond with wisdom instead of impulse. That small pause could save a relationship, prevent regret, and create respect. All because you practiced stillness in the morning. Silence builds inner strength, and inner strength protects us in outer storms. Silence is also the most powerful antidote to stress. The world will not stop being noisy. Traffic will still honk, phones will still ring, and people will still talk. But when you create silence in the morning, you carry a shield with you. You may walk into the noise, but the noise does not walk into you. It's like carrying a lamp in the darkness. The darkness is still there, but it cannot overpower you because your light protects you. Think of monks, sages, and wise people throughout history. Their strength did not come from speaking too much. It came from knowing when to remain silent. And if they, living in caves or forests, valued silence so deeply, how much more important is it for us who live in the chaos of modern cities? Just 5 or 10 minutes of stillness each morning can make the difference between a scattered day and a centered one. So, tomorrow morning, before you rush into the demands of life, sit with yourself. Close your eyes, breathe, feel the silence not as emptiness but as fullness, the fullness of peace, the fullness of God's presence, the fullness of your own strength. Let the world wait a little, because when you begin your day with silence, you enter the world not as a hurried participant, but as a grounded leader of your own life. Silence in the morning is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And when we honor it, our days, our relationships, and our lives begin to reflect that same stillness, that same peace, that same power. The body we live in is not just flesh and bones, it is the vehicle through which we experience life. And more importantly, it is the temple in which the soul resides. Yet how often do we neglect this gift? We wake up, we rush, we sit for hours, and we push our bodies to exhaustion without giving them the care they deserve. To move the body in the morning is not just exercise, it is an act of gratitude, an act of devotion, an act of preparing this temple to serve us for the day ahead. When we choose to move our body in the early hours, we are not only strengthening muscles or burning calories, we are igniting energy, discipline, and alignment with God's design. Think of a river. When it flows, it stays pure, fresh, and full of life. But when it stands still, it becomes stagnant, filled with dirt and lifelessness. Our bodies are the same. Movement in the morning keeps the flow of energy alive within us. It awakens the cells, clears the mind, and nourishes the spirit. On the other hand, when we stay still, lying heavy, dragging ourselves through the day without energizing the body, our spirit feels sluggish, our thoughts feel clouded, and even small tasks feel burdensome. Movement is life, stillness without purpose is decay. Consider this simple example. Two people wake up at the same time. One immediately rushes into the day, grabbing food in a hurry, sitting in front of a screen, and dragging through tasks. By afternoon, they are already tired, irritated, and unproductive. The other spends just 20 minutes moving the body, stretching, walking, doing yoga, or exercising. That person carries energy, clarity, and enthusiasm throughout the day. They face the same workload, the same challenges, but their body becomes their support instead of their burden. This is the power of starting the day with movement. Movement in the morning is also a conversation with God. When we stretch, when we breathe deeply, when our blood begins to circulate, it is as if we are saying, "Thank you for this body, and I will honor it by caring for it." The body is not separate from our spiritual life. It is the very tool that allows us to live spiritually. Without health, meditation becomes harder, prayer becomes distracted, and service becomes limited. By moving the body, we are preparing it to carry out not just our tasks, but our higher purpose. Think about the way animals live. A cat stretches the moment it wakes up. Birds flap their wings before flying. Every creature naturally moves its body to awaken energy. But humans, with all our intelligence, often ignore this simple truth. We grab our phones, slump into chairs, and expect our minds to stay sharp while our bodies remain neglected. Movement is nature's way of reminding us that energy is created, not found. When we move, we create energy. When we don't, we crave it desperately in the form of caffeine, sugar, or unhealthy habits. Movement also affects the mind in powerful ways. When you exercise or stretch in the morning, your brain releases chemicals like endorphins and dopamine, the natural feel-good messengers. That is why after a short workout, you don't just feel stronger, you feel happier, calmer, and more optimistic. This positivity seeps into your interactions. A person who starts the day with movement carries lightness in their steps and brightness in their mood. They smile more, they respond better, and they inspire others simply through their energy. Take a daily life example. Imagine a person who commutes to work. If they begin the morning without movement, by the time they reach the office, they are already tired, their shoulders are stiff, their back aches, and their mood is low. Now imagine the same person, but this time they spent even 15 minutes stretching, walking, or breathing deeply before leaving. They arrive at the same office, but with relaxed shoulders, fresh energy, and a sharp focus. They are not just present physically, they are present mentally and spiritually. Movement is not just about the body, it transforms the quality of everything we do. Moving the body also teaches us discipline. Waking up and choosing to move, even when you don't feel like it, builds inner strength. It is a way of telling yourself, "I am in charge, not my laziness." That discipline spills into every area of life, into how we work, how we handle challenges, and how we pursue goals. The morning movement becomes a rehearsal for overcoming resistance in all other aspects of life. If you can conquer the bed and move your body when comfort calls you back to sleep, you can conquer much bigger challenges that life places before you. There is also a spiritual beauty in movement. Yoga, for example, is not just physical exercise. It was designed as a practice to unite body, mind, and soul. When we stretch, when we breathe, when we balance, we are not just training the body, we are reminding ourselves that harmony is possible. Even a simple walk in the morning can become a form of meditation. Each step, each breath becomes a rhythm that connects us to nature and to God. So when we say, move your body in the morning, we are not talking about just building muscles or losing weight. We are talking about creating energy, discipline, gratitude, and alignment. We are talking about honoring the temple that houses your soul. We are talking about entering the day, not half asleep, but fully alive. Tomorrow when you wake up, don't just rush into the noise. Take time to move. Stretch your arms as if you are embracing the new day. Walk with awareness as if you are walking in God's presence. Breathe deeply as if each breath is a gift. Because when you move your body in the morning, you are not just exercising, you are energizing your entire life. The mind is the master of our life. Whatever the mind believes, the body follows, and whatever the mind absorbs in the first hours of the day becomes the fuel that drives our entire journey. That is why nourishing the mind in the morning is just as important as nourishing the body. Think about it. If you feed your body with junk food, you feel heavy, tired, and restless. In the same way, if you feed your mind with negativity, gossip, or distractions the moment you wake up, your thoughts become restless, your emotions become heavy, and your actions lack clarity. But if you choose to begin the day by feeding your mind with uplifting thoughts, wisdom, or divine reflections, you set a foundation of strength and positivity that carries you through every challenge. The mind is like a garden. Whatever seeds we plant in it early in the morning will grow throughout the day. If we plant seeds of worry, we harvest anxiety. If we plant seeds of comparison, we harvest jealousy. But if we plant seeds of wisdom, gratitude, and purpose, we harvest peace, joy, and direction. The morning is the most fertile time for planting these seeds because the mind is fresh, uncluttered, and receptive. Just like soil that is soft after rain, the morning mind is soft and ready to receive. What we choose to feed it then determines the kind of harvest we will reap. Take a simple daily example. Imagine two people waking up. The first one immediately scrolls through social media, seeing pictures of others' success, wealth, or beauty. Within minutes, their heart is filled with comparison, doubt, and a sense of inadequacy. The second person, instead of grabbing the phone, opens a book of wisdom, listens to a motivational talk, or reflects on a verse or teaching that uplifts the spirit. Within minutes, their mind is filled with hope, clarity, and determination. Both are living the same day, but one is drained before it even begins, while the other is empowered. This is the difference between starving and nourishing the mind. Nourishing the mind does not always require hours of study or deep philosophy. Sometimes, even a single sentence of wisdom can light up the entire day. A quote that reminds you of your purpose, a line that strengthens your patience, a story that awakens your courage. These are the mental vitamins that strengthen the spirit. Just as one glass of fresh water refreshes the body, one drop of inspiration refreshes the mind. The key is to make it a habit, to deliberately choose what you allow into your consciousness each morning. Think of the mind as a mirror. If you let dust settle on it every morning, your reflection becomes unclear. But if you wipe it clean with wisdom, gratitude, and positive thoughts, you see yourself clearly, and you see the world more clearly too. Many people wonder why their days feel confusing, why they feel unmotivated, or why they lose focus so quickly. The answer often lies in the way they begin the morning. A mind that is fed with chaos cannot give peace, but a mind that is fed with truth and positivity naturally produces strength. Nourishing the mind is also about protecting it from toxins. Just as you wouldn't drink poisoned water knowingly, why drink poisoned thoughts at the start of your day? News filled with fear, messages filled with anger, images filled with comparison. These are mental toxins. They might not harm you immediately, but slowly they weaken your spirit, fill you with negativity, and drain your confidence. On the other hand, when you feed the mind with wisdom from saints, sages, or inspirational teachings, it is like drinking pure water, refreshing, cleansing, and strengthening. Another example, imagine a student preparing for an exam. If they start the morning by worrying about failing, thinking of everything that could go wrong, their mind becomes heavy and their performance suffers. But if that same student begins the morning by reading something motivational, affirming their abilities, and remembering the blessings they already have, they enter the exam hall with confidence, focus, and calmness. The exam is the same, but the outcome changes because the mind was nourished, not starved. The beauty of nourishing the mind in the morning is that it not only changes your inner world, but also transforms your outer actions. A person who fills their mind with positivity speaks with more kindness. A person who fills their mind with wisdom makes better decisions. A person who fills their mind with purpose faces obstacles with courage. In this way, the morning nourishment of the mind is not a private act. It ripples outward into relationships, work, and society. Even spiritually, feeding the mind with God's wisdom is a way of aligning with the divine. When we read words of truth, when we meditate on higher principles, when we reflect on life's deeper meaning, we are not just filling the mind with information, we are connecting it with inspiration. And inspiration is the language through which God guides us. So tomorrow morning, ask yourself, what will I feed my mind? Will I let the world decide by rushing into notifications, advertisements, and endless noise? Or will I decide by choosing wisdom, gratitude, and positive thoughts? Remember, the mind is hungry the moment it wakes up. If you don't feed it intentionally, it will feed on whatever it finds, and not everything it finds is nourishing. When you nourish the mind with uplifting wisdom each morning, you carry that strength throughout the day. You walk with clarity, you speak with kindness, and you live with purpose. And slowly, day by day, this practice doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your life. Because a nourished mind is a powerful mind, and a powerful mind can turn ordinary days into extraordinary journeys. Every action we take in life begins with intention, whether we realize it or not. The power of setting intentions in the morning is like the captain of a ship setting the course before sailing out to sea. Without direction, the ship drifts aimlessly at the mercy of waves and winds. In the same way, when we step into our day without clear intentions, we are carried away by distractions, emotions, and circumstances. But when we start the day with strong, positive, and conscious intentions, we become the captain of our journey. We may not control the waves of life, but we can control the direction in which we sail. An intention is not just a goal. A goal is something you want to achieve in the future, but an intention is the energy you choose to live with in the present moment. It is about asking yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? How do I want to respond to challenges? What energy do I want to carry into my relationships? These questions transform the morning from routine into ritual. Instead of being dragged by the day, you shape the day. Instead of reacting, you begin to respond with awareness. Let us imagine two people again. The first wakes up and rushes into the day without a thought. They get frustrated when traffic is slow, irritated when a colleague disagrees, and disheartened when plans don't work out. Their emotions are like a ball being kicked around by the world. The second person, however, wakes up and takes 5 minutes to set intentions. Today I choose patience. Today I choose to stay calm. Today I choose to see challenges as lessons. When traffic comes, instead of irritation, they remember their intention and breathe. When conflict comes, instead of anger, they recall patience. Both face the same world, but their experiences are completely different because one entered the day without intention and the other entered it with purpose. Intention acts like an inner compass. Imagine walking in a forest without a compass. You may walk endlessly, but end up in circles. With a compass, even if the terrain is rough, you always know which direction to move. Life's forest is filled with distractions, notifications, opinions, temptations, and fears. Without intentions, we lose ourselves in them. With intentions, even when things go wrong, we don't lose our sense of direction. The compass keeps pointing us back to who we decided to be. Setting intentions also brings incredible clarity. So often we wake up and feel confused about what truly matters. Our minds run in 1,000 directions, chasing things that may not even align with our deeper values. But when we pause to set intentions, we remind ourselves of what is important. For example, you may say, "Today I will work with focus and end the day peacefully." This simple intention helps filter your actions. When distractions arise, you know they don't serve your focus. When unnecessary arguments appear, you know they don't serve your peace. Without this clarity, it is easy to waste hours and regret them later. Think about how athletes prepare for a game. Before stepping on the field, they don't just train the body, they set the mind. They visualize success, focus on strategy, and decide how they will respond under pressure. That is their intention, and it gives them strength even when the game is tough. Similarly, our daily life is our playing field. If we begin the day without intention, we are like athletes stepping into the game without focus. But if we begin with intention, we carry determination and direction into every challenge. Here's a daily life example many people will connect with: a parent who wakes up in the morning. If they set no intention, they may end up scolding the child for small things, rushing them with frustration, and carrying guilt the whole day. But if that same parent wakes up and sets the intention, "Today I will guide my child with patience and kindness," their behavior changes. They still face the same situations: slow mornings, spilled milk, unfinished homework. But their responses are different. The child feels more supported, the parent feels more at peace, and the entire home carries a calmer energy. This is the silent but powerful effect of intentions. Intentions also create accountability within ourselves. When we declare our intentions each morning, we remind ourselves to live consciously. It is like making a promise to the higher self. Even if we forget during the day, the memory of that intention pulls us back on track. For instance, if your intention was to stay calm and you lose your temper, the moment you remember your morning promise, you correct yourself and regain balance. This way, intentions keep us aligned even when we falter. Most importantly, Intentions connect us to God's guidance. When we set intentions with sincerity, we are not only telling ourselves what we want, we are also inviting divine energy to support us. Saying, "I intend to be compassionate today," is not just self-talk, it is like offering a prayer to God, "Please help me embody compassion." And often throughout the day, we find opportunities where we are reminded to live that intention, as if God Himself places those lessons before us. So, tomorrow morning, before you rush into the world, take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to create? What kind of person do I want to be? Write it down, say it aloud, or simply hold it in your heart. Let it be simple, let it be clear, and let it be sincere. Because the power of a morning routine is not just in what we do, but in how we choose to be. And intentions are that choice. When you set intentions, you are no longer a passenger in life. You are the driver. You are no longer reacting blindly. You are responding consciously. And over time, these daily intentions shape not just your mornings, not just your days, but your entire destiny. Because what we choose intentionally today becomes who we are tomorrow. And the practice of setting intentions every morning is the path to becoming the best version of ourselves, aligned with both purpose and God's grace.